Yeah. Better than How are you? Good. How's that? You guys think quite excited. Oh, and we did. We didn't mean to.
Some deals, proof of being here. Yourself, you know, the school board and that.
Max, you take your phone?
Okay.
Beautiful travel. Probably best for all of us here. Anyway, but yeah.
Term. Sorry, I do. Hey, how are you?
We didn't make it back.
I was saying, never heard from you.
No.
After 5 o'clock, it's like, yeah, they're not gonna.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
no.
we can go back here. Thank you.
Yeah, we were still heard that at 5 o'clock.
Oh. Wow.
They're a little complicated.
Well, you know, 1950, 1940 architecture.
Yeah, that's right there. Stay. Yeah. Worse than it ever.
That's all.
Huh? You'll have to pay one.
What's the location?
Okay, we have 6:30, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting order. I'd like to start with pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America
Consider republic which stands, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item tonight is conduct a public hearing on our 2026 budget, capital projects plan, and bus replacement plan. Basically hold this up, public hearing to take testimony regarding the budget, capital project and bus plan. Any comments, any concerns? Being none, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the budget. Motion by Matt Miller. Second by Lenny Miller, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next, I'd like to conduct a public hearing on the teachers' compensation. Basically working on the new contracts for the teachers. Any comments, input? There being none, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the teacher compensation. Motion by Matt Eckert.
I'll second.
Second by Nate Schuler, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Now I'd like to open up and continue with our regular meeting. First item is our consent agenda. This includes the approval of minutes from our last month's meetings, approval of claims, professional leaves. As you can see, we're back in school, a lot of things going on, field trips. Fundraisers and some facility use requests. Anybody have any question on those items? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Nate,
I'll second.
second by Lane, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Next, comments, requests from patrons. Looked at the list. Everybody signed those, nobody wishes to speak this evening, so that's on there. Next, we're going to hear from our student advisory members, but first I'd like to welcome. Did you have to go through an interview process? What's involved being chosen?
We were given a paper and we basically just had to sign names and say that we were interested and then we were chosen.
Mr. Keller made the recommendation, so based upon what he knows of the candidates from in class and academics, character, so he made that decision and then made the recommendation to myself. So congratulations.
Yeah, that's great.
And we're going to give a report. If you want to kind of introduce yourself, just so people, I think most of them probably know you, but maybe board members.
Okay, I'm Gavin Winkler.
I'm Bailey Anderson.
Okay, so both of the elementary schools have got an off to a great start. Fern Elementary had an amazing turnout for their back to school night, and they're very grateful for their support of their many community organizations that joined them for that evening, and they want to extend a huge thanks to Framing Fernan for providing Kona Ice to the students this year. This year, Fern Elementary has a school theme, which is growing together, a place where everyone belongs. I know many teachers have incorporated these themes into their rooms and hallway decorations, and even the main entrance has a tree that welcomes the students when they walk in. This month, they will start the school-wide chapter book that celebrates including others and finding ways to grow. And then Pine Ridge also had a great orientation night, and after the first 3 weeks of school, the students have started to get back into the routine of things as they continue to work hard. This Friday, the first grade will attend Wilson Ranch as a field trip in Paoli, and they are planning to have a packed day of fun and education. Grandparents' Day will be moved to the fall this year and will take place in the afternoon of September 12th. And the PTO is in the process of planning the fall carnival, which will take place later this month. And during the last week of school for September, the fall book fair will take place, which gives the families an easy opportunity to get books of their interest, which could help them build their grow of reading. And then Ms. Madden has planned 2 things for both of the elementary schools: Hello Week, which helps encourage students to make friends and get to know other students, and College Go Week, which can help the students grow their knowledge on college. And then both schools are excited for the school year ahead.
Cedar Crest would like to thank Mrs. Holt, Ms. Sitzman, and Ms. Schrank for their hard work because the CCI robotics team was awarded an $8,700 grant from the Indiana Department of Education K-12 robotics competition. On Friday, September 5th, the CCI students will be celebrating Grandparents' Day from 1 to 2:30. This is a special event where students can share part of their school day with their grandparents and learn from them. And then the fall book fair will be held September 2nd through the 5th. This event provides great opportunities for students to get excited about reading while supporting the school library. And then at the junior high at Forest Park, Mr. Hawks would like to compliment all the students on their hard work and great start to the school year. 8th grade students are getting ready for their DC trip that will take place in late September. And then all students will also be taking their first iLearn checkpoint assessment. And then at the high school, Dr. Thompson would like to compliment all students for hitting the ground running this school year and the seniors enjoying their respective capstones. And then the football field dedication will be taking place September 5th, and homecoming is scheduled for September 12th. And students are pumped for creative dress-ups and class representation throughout the homecoming.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome. Next, we'll hear a presentation from the officer.
We have Christine Reed, Brittany Black, and Dale Wagner here this evening to join us. They have been on campus for a few hours. They were at Britain Elementary earlier. They requested a ladder, so I think they spent some time in the ceiling looking at some different structural pieces of the maze of that building. So we're glad that you guys are here with us tonight. Thank you.
As we were listening to the student update, I thought there's going to eventually be construction updates that could come from the students as well to make Scott's job a little bit easier, because they're going to be living through it firsthand, reporters on going through construction. So that'll be exciting. So thank you for letting us join. We wanted to have this meeting just to kind of reset the table. Obviously, you guys know, working with us over the years, that we like to do schedules and then stick to the schedule. And so we wanted to make it pretty clear about the schedule that that will happen and what you can anticipate moving forward. If you remember the design process when we were going through the football stadium and then the baseball, it'll be the same thing at the high school. So as things start to progress, and then we work with the Steph Nagel group to make sure that we redo estimating to make sure we're aligned with the budget, we will bring that to you to make sure that we provide board updates. When we start to get renderings of what it's going to look like after color selections and all that, we want to make sure that we're very transparent throughout the process, and also get you excited about what's just around the corner before construction starts. And so expect that from us. And then the other piece that we will do along with the Steph Nagel group is we plan a staff meeting for the high school and for Ferdinand. So as construction, we're still months away from construction beginning, but we want to provide information to the staff to understand what is happening, when is it happening, what can we expect, and how will it impact us. And so we want to make sure that it's being done with them, not to them. We'll talk about the emotional cycles of going through a construction project, and then all the exciting things that will be just around the corner. So I want to make sure that you guys know that we'll be doing that throughout the process on every step of the construction and planning for it. So.
So we're just basically going to do an overview of the projects, and then Dale with us here will dive deeper into the schedule and cost. So the two primary buildings that we're working on is Ferdinand Elementary. And so here at Ferdinand, the big element is to create a secure entry point. So reconfiguring your reception, admin area, some of the door entry points into that front office, so that there's now the checkpoints as your visitors are coming into that building, to get you up to date with what some of your other elementaries have now. And then updating student restrooms. So you've got an original 1950s bathroom that's not ADA compliant. So getting that ADA accessible, new sinks, new fixtures, all of that. And then there's a second smaller restroom that we're also going to make that one ADA compliant as well, and give that a finish refresh there at Ferdinand. So those are the two primary areas here at Ferdinand that we'll be working on. That's what we spent, the last few hours today looking at surveying, making sure we have all the existing conditions accounted for. That's going to help as best we can with the unforeseens down the road when we get into construction. And then here at Forest Park, brief overview. Forest Park is still very heavy in the schematic design phase, as we say. We're meeting every week with the admin team, with Forest Park, with Dr. Pund, asking them what the needs are, what the wants are, what the desires, what program elements do they need, have we accounted for all of the staff that's currently in the building, how many English classrooms do we need, how many science classrooms do we need. It's a giant puzzle, and so we're working through that based on, we need to update facts. We want to renovate the auditorium. We're going to provide a new cafeteria. So when we provide a new cafeteria, what happens with the old? And when we move the admin area, what happens with the old admin? And so we're just kind of working through all these different program elements to work through all the considerations, the new gym, refresh of locker rooms, different things like that as we get further into the development to make sure we're accounting for all of your programming that you currently have at Forest Park. And then the other touch point that starts to impact Pine Ridge and Cedar Crest is some of that preventative maintenance that we had discussed early on in our facility assessment. Which of your buildings need some roof replacements that are at the end of their life? Pine Ridge being one of those that needs some roof repairs, MEP, mechanical, electrical. Are there any of your HVAC equipment that's at its end of life? Do we need to replace something at Cedar Crest from an HVAC standpoint? And then some other routine improvements just as the budget allows. So that's the initial or more developed cost estimating that we're going to continue doing once we lock in the scope at Ferdinand, we lock in the scope at Forest Park, what dollars are left to do some of the preventative maintenance throughout the district.
So the schedule, and we have changed the schedule, pared it down. We had some other things happening before that, the project hearing, although those are behind us. So, those are the accomplishments so far. So this schedule, picks up now with this school board meeting tonight, kind of give me an update, show you and explain to you what is coming. We're meeting with the staff, as Brittany just said, weekly at various groups. I mean, we will pull in the groups as we need them over the next few months. Some of the discussions will happen later because those project construction sequence and bonding wise will be later projects. But we're thinking we'll come back. What we're doing right now with the have some very in-depth discussions here with staff and with administration in September, and come to you in October at the October 1st board meeting and lay out then a UFC Ferdinand, probably at a design development level. You'll see Forest Park at a pretty much I think a pretty solid schematic design of what the staff is trying to achieve by that October report. It won't be anything three-dimensional yet. There'll still be pretty colors on a drawing though, but we will have a lot more developed. We really haven't talked about the cafeteria all that much. I mean, we've shown it. We put a design that we used elsewhere, but we want it to be what your staff wants, how you prepare food, what you want in the cafeteria. And there's been some discussion, so we'll get a little more in depth of that, because that's working with the Stefano group is probably one of the first things we're going to do is the cafeteria addition next spring when summer when construction starts. So we look like we'll come back in probably November as well, depending on how things shape out here and shake out in September and October. And November, we would like to have by that time even more solid schematic design, probably touching on terms of design development of the areas that are going to move forward first, and have those areas identified, because we're also, as the next slide will show you, we're keeping an eye on the budget and how the project's going to be bought out over the next 2 or 3 or 4 years. So continue updating you as we go along. And some of the areas that we may not get to construction wise, maybe later. Well, later is, it may be 2 years before construction starts in this area. So those areas we have a little more time we want to make sure that we got them in the right place. But in terms of the really down, honing in and zeroing in what needs to be done in those spaces, that may be a little bit later on. But we will update you as those spaces come alive, and as you will see everything before it goes out. But yeah, November we're hoping to have some 3D. Like over the cafeteria edition, where we're saying what our thinking is on what it will look like. So, and then still sticking with moving on into the winter months, good time to be in the house and be inside and work on construction documents and working with Stefano Group. They'll be making reviews as well. And when spring starts to warm up again, we hope to be in a position where we can go out for bid. And we want to really time it. And Scott and I work very well together in terms of, well, let's hold it off a couple of weeks. We're hearing there's another big project people bidding. We have more likely to hold off 2 more weeks. So we hit that nice spot in terms of bidding the project. Okay. And then the budget, the good thing about the budget hasn't changed, and we're still within budget. We've not advanced anything far enough that we'll put us out of budget. So that's the good news. That's the takeaway. So yeah, but we will, as these things start to solidify and we get, and we know that there's going to be some, hey, have you thought about this? Can we do work in this area? You know, we really need to. There might be some areas we don't really need to do all the stuff that we have that we were slated to do here. So it will shift around, and that's when we will continue to update the budget and give you updates. And before we go out to bid, we'll essentially tell you what we think the anticipated cost. Again, remember, when you're estimating and pricing, we don't want to be low. So we're hoping that your bid will come in under what we would tell you. That's a good estimate if you come in under what you not grossly under, and but hopefully not over. So yeah, so that's where we're at in terms of cost and process. Okay.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
All that's good.
2.5 years, we're starting to understand some.
Yeah, that's right.
I think when you start to see some of the 3D interior exterior, I think you will. There's a great deal of potential. I really, I'm excited with the part of the building coming down and get to reskin that into a modern looking facility. Very excited.
There's a certain amount of guilt that I have as a superintendent as I'm like looking out here to our audience with mostly seniors, and I felt that same guilt last year when we were talking about the new football stadium and the baseball field, because the seniors were, I think, really wanting to play on that new field, and were, just a little bit bummed that they would not get to experience that. So now, as we're talking about massive renovations for Forest Park, I feel that same guilt as I'm looking at you and seeing that, unfortunately, you guys will not get to experience the renovations that we have planned, because we've put a lot of work into this. And I think that the final product of what we're going to see several years from now is going to be a pretty cool building for our students. So
I will add, though, the Ranger pride is real with the Alumni Association, so you will still be proud of this high school for decades to come. So
just experience it in a different way. Right?
Mhm. You'll have to do homework there.
Thank you all for coming. I know you got a road trip back.
Thank you.
Feel free to.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Safe travel back. Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
Next, we'll get a presentation from the Stefano Group.
Hello, everyone. Just a brief update on the projects at hand. As you all know, the best home furnishing stadium kicked off its first game last Friday. Congratulations. I heard it was a full house. As far as remaining work there, we have some minor punch list items. The major punch list item is the final grading around the complex and installing sod and seed around the complex. So that's the major punch list item remaining on that project. Shifting to the baseball complex, the new concrete backstop retaining wall is in place along with the building foundation wall. Currently, the contractor is backfilling both of those walls. It's a slow process because we can only bring so much backfill at a time to achieve the proper compaction. So that should take about another week to accomplish that. And Soon after that, you'll see underground plumbing, electrical go in, as well as the farming up of the bleacher, the seating area, risers, and treads. So for the next week, it's going to be kind of slow, but shortly after that, you're going to see a lot of progress with floor slab being poured, the baseball press box, concession building being framed up. Be pretty exciting. Anybody have any questions?
It looks great. Some of you guys play last week, Friday? Probably a few of them March, maybe? Yeah, looks great.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for excusing us.
Next is consider some resignation.
Yeah, we just had a few resignations this month. Jennifer and I, as the instructional assistant at Pine Ridge. Nathan Burr and Bryson Partenheimer as fifth grade boys basketball coaches at CCI. Logan Engler as a sixth grade boys basketball coach at CCI. And Cindy Hospital as Forest Park cafeteria staff.
Entertain a motion to accept the resignations as presented. Motion by Matt Rosen.
I'll second.
Second by Nate Schuler. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, some hirings.
We have Amy Hawkins as a junior high student council sponsor. Ruby Merkel as Forest Park student cafeteria worker. Kristen Bakeland as a BPA co-sponsor. Nathan Berg as sixth grade boys basketball coach. Diana Sandoval as instructional assistant at Pine Ridge. And we also have Sophia Bettag, Addie Schaefer, and Gavin Winkler as education profession interns at Vernon Elementary. And one thing I wanted to mention with that is Mrs. Full had applied for an opportunity that the state provides that provides funding to reimburse us for the salary for the interns that we have at Vernon Elementary. So we're actually getting reimbursed for half of our costs to pay for our intern salary at Vernon Elementary. So it's definitely a great opportunity for us.
Great effort on that. With that, I would entertain a motion to approve the hirings as presented. Motion by Matt Eckert.
I'll second.
Second by Elaine. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. I don't know if everybody realizes, but Eric has been doing a great job over the years helping us get some funding that we used to not get. So, I mean, it's great. We really appreciate that extra work. Next, consider some donations.
We have $144.95 supplies from Welks Greenhouse to the Forest Park FFA program. $1,400 from the Sciotes to purchase the wireless mic and receiver for the Forest Park Music Department. $1,200 also from Sci Iota Xi to the Forest Park Art Department. And we also received $4,190 donations from Best Home Furnishings to Forest Park for chairs and furniture.
You see anybody else that works in any of these places and know any people or the Sciotes? Thank them, because it's amazing how much support we get in this community. It helps us all. So, entertain a motion to accept the donations as presented. A motion by Nate, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next, consider reading of the Neola policies. I think it was 238 pages total. First 22 were the summary, and then you could read each one if you want. Anybody have any questions? Again, it's something we have to do every year as the state makes changes, as new policies or adjustments are made. So thankfully we have a company that can help keep those organized. I'm sure Dr. Quinlan loves reading through those, but it keeps us on board. So I entertain a motion to approve those policies as presented. Motion by Matt Littlehusen.
I'll second.
Second by Elaine. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, next, consider resolution determining need for project.
Yeah, so I had included some resolutions within your board folder. The first resolution that I had included is the resolution determining the need for the project. And I don't think that I need to go into much detail with this, as we have spent a significant amount of time over the past several years really doing a deep dive into the current condition of our facilities and truly identifying out of the long list that we have what those priorities are. And now that we have, I'd say a pretty well thought out scope of work, we understand that in order for us to, you know, move forward and continue to have facilities that we're proud of here at Southeast Dubois, that we need to move forward with funding to make that happen. So our first resolution, you know, just states that you guys as a board understand and also recognize the need for many of the projects that we have moving forward with the school corporation.
Any questions? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution determining need for the project. Motion by Matt Eckert. Second by Matt Littleton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. I wasn't quick enough to see which one did it. Next, consider the resolution approving the form of lease.
Yeah, so as we talked a little bit about before, in order to do a larger project with Southeast Dubois, we need to move forward with that lease. It's different than what we've done here in the past several years because we have pursued GEO bonds over the past several years, but due to the extent of the project and the amount that we need to borrow moving forward, we need to move forward with lease payment. And, you know, essentially what that does is recognizing through the board action that we are funding this project through a lease. We've done this with other larger construction projects in the past. And many school corporations across the state of Indiana pursue this in order to borrow for both renovation and construction costs. This type of financing, it just does not count against our school corporation's debt. And essentially, it allows the building corporation to purchase a part of Forest Park and at the closing for at least the appraisal value. Building corporation will then lease that portion back to the school corporation. So the lease rental due from Southeast Dubois to the building corporation will be paid from property taxes. Lease rental will be sufficient to pay the principal and the interest to the bondholders. So that essentially is a summary. Whenever you read through the resolution, there's a lot of high-level language in there. I did my best to try to summarize what that lease financing is for us.
Any questions? Three times. Not entertaining a motion to approve form of the lease. I'll make a motion. Motion by Nate. Second by Matt Eckert. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next, resolution reapproving formation of the building corporation.
Yeah, so this resolution just allows us to reactivate that building corporation. It's also known as the holding corporation. Those folks that have been part of this holding corporation in the past, it essentially is just kind of reactivating their role as part of the building corporation. So we do need a resolution in order to reactivate this group, in order to allow them to move forward with the building corporation for the school. Corporations in there.
Entertain a motion to approve reapproving the formation of the building corporation. Motion by Littleton. Second by Elaine. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Next, preschool discussion.
Yeah, so just wanted to open up a discussion with you all in regards to preschool here at Southeast Dubois. As you guys know, we last year were awarded a grant, thankfully, from Mrs. Hall and her excellent grant writing abilities, and we were approved for $10,000 from the Dubois County Community Foundation in order for us to expand our preschool program at Southeast Dubois. So upon award of that grant, we also had done a survey just to get some information from the community in regards to what their needs were and kind of what they were envisioning as far as looking at preschool. And was it something where they wanted, us to expand our offerings for our current 4-year-old preschool, or were they wanting us to kind of dig into expanding it to options for our 3-year-old students? And along with that, we took some of that survey information and Also, we gleaned some information in regards to what does that time frame look like? So if we do expand it to 3-year-olds, does our community want a 5-day-a-week program? Do they want a 3-day-a-week program? Half days, with preschool, especially at the 3-year-old level, there are a lot of different options for us to consider. So, we took that information between myself, Mr. Hinton, Mrs. Winkler, Mrs. Hole. We've just been talking about what our next steps are moving forward, because our goal is that we would really like to expand that preschool program with a start date of August 2026. So with that end goal in mind, how do we get from where we are right now to be ready to roll with the 3-year-old preschool at both Cambridge and Ferdinand Elementary, which is our goal for the start of next school year. So I really just wanted to provide an update for you all on some of the discussions that we've had, and then also talk, I think, about some of the challenges associated with that. Where we are right now is we've put a timeline together in determining what that might look like. Currently it's a half-day program, 3 days a week as an option, and a half-day program for 2 days a week as an option for our families to consider. Obviously, with that comes posting the positions and ensuring that we can find a qualified teacher at both Ferdinand Elementary and Pine Ridge. And then along with that comes the process of buying equipment, supplies, and ensuring that we have everything that we need in order to be ready to implement that in August 2026. So we are working with building blocks in order to really kind of identify what that curriculum looks like at the 3-year-old level and how we transition that curriculum to the 4-year-old program. And also using building blocks as a resource to help with that equipment, supplies, resources that we need. One of the pieces that we are running into as a challenge is just space. And looking specifically at Ferdinand Elementary, we're going to expand that program. We need another classroom. And at Ferdinand Elementary, we don't really have classrooms to spare. So one of the pieces that we're working through right now is that what that might look like moving forward. We don't have a solid answer for you right now in regards to, what space would be available, but it is one of those pieces that we are working through. And I think we'll be coming to you in the future to identify some solutions to help us with that spacing issue at Ferdinand Elementary.
What
Yes.
does it do from a bus standpoint? Do they ride the bus at all?
No, our preschool students do not ride the bus.
Yeah, preliminary indicators on what the enrollment number looks like.
So solely based on the survey data last year, we are anticipating that we should have full classes. With that said, some things have changed in the past year. We do have another preschool that was just opened here in Ferdinand, so we don't know, how many people were interested previously that may enroll their child at that other preschool in the future. So, but based on some of the survey data that we have, we are anticipating full classroom.
So they count in the student head count for us.
And preschool is totally a self-funded program, so they do not count that overall student count.
That's a fee associated to attend. Yeah, discussed all across the country, I know across the state, so it's something that we'll keep hearing on. We haven't looked into.
So my purpose for this really was just to follow up on some of the previous discussions that we've had and just update you on where our time frame is right now.
Next item is approval of the human sexuality curriculum. As we know, as I mentioned, with the policies and all the changes, this is a requirement now to run through the school board to discuss this or bring information to us, which was included in our folders.
Yeah, so one of the policies that we actually just passed was policy 2221, and that was related to mandatory curriculum. As we know, as a result of some of the legislative changes that happened this past spring, there were a lot of things just in regards to curriculum and updates that we needed to do, and ensure that moving forward, we are compliant with what the law is stating. One of those pieces talked about publishing a list of all instructional materials, films, presentations, essentially any type of instructional materials that are needed throughout the corporation related to human sexuality. So when we think about, what that looks like, both at Fordham Elementary and Pine Ridge at grade 4, that's whenever some of those discussions start happening. So Mrs. Hull has worked with our school nurses, Mrs. Lehusen and Mrs. Hill, in addition to Mr. Riggs, our health teacher, and then also Mrs. Weedoff, our child development teacher. Because anytime we have instruction related to those topics that happen in that class, we're now required to have that curriculum posted, and then also any materials associated with that curriculum posted on our website. So our first step with this, following all the work that was done with that team, is to get that curriculum board approved. And then once it's approved, then we post that on our website, and it's required to stay on our website.
Any questions on the information that was shared in the packet that we were sent? If not, I entertain a motion to approve the human sexuality curriculum as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Nate, I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Carried. Next, accommodations.
Yeah, just wanted to recognize everyone that was involved in the development of this home furnishings. You guys as a board, we spent a lot of time working on the plans, moving forward with that, in addition to just lots of little pieces to make that work. The video board, I think, is phenomenal. Video board, scoreboard, it is absolutely amazing. But there was an incredible amount of work that went into that to ensure that it was working. So I think if people understood what happened behind the scenes to work through a lot of small pieces to ensure that that is functioning properly. Donna Sutter, our Director of Technology, spent a lot of time with that video board, scoreboard. So just wanted to do a shout out to her. Mr. Hosnauer, our athletic director, he's put a lot of time into it. It was definitely a pretty cool experience on Friday night at our first football game. We had our first girls and boys soccer game last night as well, and just a different experience. Great playing environment for our kids, great for our community, and we're pretty proud of where we are right now, and I just want to recognize a lot of work that went into making that happen. Also, as Bailey said earlier, I just want to do a commendation to our staff at Cedar Crest, Kelly Shearing, Kenneth Smith, Cassie Williams, Erica Hull, for writing a grant that provided over $8,700 to the robotics program at CCI. That is being paid to fund some robotic equipment, and then also pay for the entry fees for robotic competitions. So exciting stuff.
Super. And a couple of other items come.
Yeah, just wanted to share, we do have the dedication ceremony for Best Home Furnishing Stadium. That's Friday night. We are starting at 6:40 when that dedication ceremony starts. So we're hoping that a lot of people will join us for that dedication ceremony. We do have Mary C. Longy, and many of the Longy family members are going to be present. So we are going to have a ceremony to recognize them, and we're hoping that our community can come out and help us to celebrate. We also have one of the pieces that we've been working on in collaboration with the Vernon Library is on Wednesday evening of next week. We have a Connected Community, Thriving in a Digital World presentation that's going to happen. So we have been working with them and really just kind of exploring resources related to some of the concerns that we're seeing just with our students in regards to finding ways that we can help to support technology use in a positive, productive manner. Obviously the impact of cell phones, devices has it can have some positives, but it can also have some negative effects on our students as well. So using some of the resources like the Anxious Generation book that was published last year, we just are working to build some awareness with our parents and with our community on finding ways to help our students to be able to use their phones in a positive and productive manner. So we do have next week, there's going to be some clips of some videos to view, and then we have all of our social workers. So we have Audrey Black, Shane Madden, Haley Hoffman, along with our SRO, Jeremy Lee. And they're going to be our expert panel at this in order to talk about some of the things that are going on and ways that parents can help their child to raise them in a manner to productively use technology.
High school.
It's going to be at the mobile room at the community center. Yep.
Principals, anything? Board members, anything? Yeah, good job. Well, thank you, students. Hope you enjoyed, learned a little something. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session. Motion by Matt Eckert. Second by Lane Miller, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. 7-11. If you need anything from us, let us know. Otherwise, have a good evening. Thank you.